If you missed the Veyle channel, we got an early review of the 7th anniversary celebration for Fire Emblem Heroes. I've got a video discussing what's coming our way if you want to check it out. Now, the reason for the early celebration is because they wanted to highlight the new hero type appearing in this month's double banner. We have one new Mythic hero and a new Emblem hero type inspired by Fire Emblem Engage. We'll talk about both units and the other banner units you can summon. First up, to celebrate Engage's 1-year anniversary, Mythic Lumera is here. Like her namesake, she's a light mythic that boosts defense and is going to be a blue infantry dragon. From the trailer, her stats appear to be 37 HP, 43 attack, 46 speed, 27 defense, and 40 res. You need to subtract the Aether Raid bonus stats from what was on the screen. Stat-wise, this is almost exactly the same profile as the New Year's Kana's, low base HP and defense, decent res, and then great speed with solid base attack. Her only old skill is going to be Rally Defense Res Plus. Lumera will come with a couple other supportive abilities. For her weapon, Monarch Stone is a 16-my Dragon Stone accelerated specials. At start of combat, if unit has more than 25% HP, grant bonus stats, deal true damage on hit equal to 20% speed, reduce first attacks with an S by 40%, and then inflict guard on the foe during combat. The bonus stats are equal to 25% of the foe's attack stat, -4. If the foe has 7-2 flat attack, Lumera gets the max +14 to all stats. A foe with 60 attack would still grant a sizable +11 to all stats. Monarch Stone is basically the same as the regular Lumera's Monarch Blade. You got guard, percent DR, and true damage based on speed. This time she has slaying, more stats, and instead of dodge DR, it's just a consistent 40% that will work against the first 2 brave hits as well. Technically, it's weaker to AoE, but for the most part an upgrade for Lumera. Fairly straightforward weapon. For her unique C skill, Lumera has Dragon Monarch. After unit X, apply Divine Vein Stone to spaces within 5 rows and 5 columns centered on Lumera for 1 turn. She then grants +4 to all stats and no guard to allies within the same 5x5 box area during their combat. If Lumera fights with an ally in that area, she also gains +4 stats, no guard, and an extra 30% DR for all attacks in combat. Lumera will apply Stone Terrain in the same way as Brave Corrin, but in a wider area. She can also provide a Spectrum Drive stat boost and the rare no guard support. If you want to tank with Breath type cooldown, this is an excellent ability to have, especially since Tempo is an infantry only skill. Guaranteed at least -1 cooldown per action is powerful as well if an extended fight happens, and obviously strong synergy with slaying weapons. For Aether Raids, do need to be a bit careful of Embla and her feud status. For Lumera herself, even more stats, more DR, and she denies enemy special charging with guard while she always charges hers. You then have the Stone Terrain, which is another +6 defense and res, -10 flat DR against special procs, and 50% AoE protection, which hey, we mentioned she was weaker to earlier. This can help combat against area of effect, and since the Divine Vein area is so big, you can probably help your whole team if you're grouped up. For inheritable skills, Lumera brings some new stat variants. First is Attack and Speed Scout 4. If foe initiates or has more than 75% HP at start of combat, grant +7 attack and speed, and if the foe uses an offensive special and the user has 5 or more res, then inflict +1 cooldown right before the foe's first attack. This is the second Scout A skill variant. For obvious reasons, it has a lower chance to proc Scout since you do not get an extra 7 res. Instead, you get that +7 speed, which may be more valuable for dragons like Lumera or perhaps the 2 New Year's Kanas. While dragons aren't typically offensive, Scout can be annoying for player phase initiators too. Lumera can initiate, and if she charges an enemy special, Scout can uncharge it before they attack back. She also has guard as another layer of protection. Another variant Lumera brings is Attack and Speed Ruse 4. Inflict -4 attack and speed on the foe during combat. If a rally assist is used by or targets unit, inflict -6 attack and speed debuffs, the guard status, the discord status, and the schism status on foes in counter directions of unit and target ally. This is also the second Ruse 4 variant, and with the rally assist offers more support capabilities for the Divine Monarch. If foes get close, they will get hit by debuffs, while Lumera buffs her team up and has the Stone Terrain box. If you need to be on the attack, Rally plus Ruse can give Lumera some support power outside her box's range. Ruse 4 is also a potential counter to teams with Triangle Attack or Dual Strike. As for the Pathfinder part, reminder, this only disables the Pathfinder status. The Pathfinder sisters will not be affected. Overall, Mythic Lumera in general is a solid fun unit, lots of stats, double DR skills, decent chance at scaling against anyone not stacking res, and no guard support is a rare commodity. She also provides a decent amount of stat support with the newish tier 4 Ruse. You then have another Divine Vein Stone applier, but this time in an even larger area than Corrin. As a fast unit, Lumera ideally wants no follow-up to not get abused by slow units. She could be pretty fun with the tier 4 no follow-up if you want to swap from Ruse, otherwise we got other ways to get it. She should also be fun with the DC Sacred Seal, as per usual. Maybe Counter Roar or Bulwark 4 could be interesting for a more combative disruptor. For the raids, some concerns are definitely Endless Feud status. There's also the general trend of, is enemy phasing even viable against certain threats? The stone terrain is nice, but I don't know if that's enough. No guard isn't exactly helpful if my unit is just dead before they can fight back. Sadly, Lumera also can't participate in Gale Force type teams. She can use Rally Ruse from the back or maybe use Wings of Mercy to give others no guard for consistent specials. That might be something to play around. At the very least though, Dragon's Monarch's 5x5 box is large enough to stay out of range for things like enemy sabotage type effects. If you want to try and tank, that is something that is valuable against certain attackers. Next up, our new hero type is based on the Emblem Rings from Fire Emblem Engage. Emblem Heroes will be a new hero type, and unlike their main game counterparts, they will be treated as actual units you can use in combat. Like in Engage, our first unit of this type is Marth, Emblem of Beginnings. Let's talk about the ground rules for Emblem Heroes. First off, Emblem Heroes can engage with other units to enhance their specials and stats. The enhanced special effect will vary based on the Emblem Hero, and the enhanced stats are based on the Emblem Heroes merges. If you have a regular, non-merged Marth, you get no extra stats. If you have a +1 merge, then Marth grants bonus stats equal to a +1 Dragon Flower. This means at +10 merges, Emblem Marth would give his engaged partner +2 to all stats. I believe the order of the stat increase is based on the unit's Dragonflower order, but I'm not entirely sure. It might be based on the Emblem Hero because that's kind of how it worked in the main game. Moving on, like in Engage, you can swap Emblem Marth's ring to any unit at any time. Feel free to switch it up like a Sacred Seal. This means just one copy of an Emblem Hero can let you play around with their enhanced special effects at any time. However, you only get one ring, so to say. If you have 10 Emblem Marths, this does not mean you can engage 10 Marths with 10 different units. You can engage the same copy of a hero with different emblems though. For example, if you have 4 male Alliers, one Allier can get Marth, one can get Celica, a third can get Sigurd, and so on. Again, basically the same system as the main game. For some other notes, there did not seem to be any limits on who can engage with an emblem. Legendary, Mythic, Rearmed, Attuned, Duo, go right ahead. Unlike ally support, the engaged state will be active for defense teams. This may start to get real messy with more emblems being added. Last note, Emblem Heroes seem to be in the same tier as Legendary and Mythics. They are time limited, and I guess new additions are going to be part of the monthly end of the month banners. I assume they're going to take a turn in the rotation, but who's to say we don't get more double banners just like this month. Now, the new engage mechanic is relatively simple but powerful. Let's talk about what engaging with Emblem Marth can do for a unit. Added to the unit special, they get Accelerated Special Trigger. If unit has brave attacks, reduce special damage by 8. That's not too complicated, but at the same time, this is literally an addition that can affect every single unit's build. Marth can give everyone slaying, and if stacks with slaying weapons, so double slaying effects is actually a thing now. We were joking about Altina getting -2 cooldown because of her 2 swords, but that's literally possible now. However, for obvious reasons, you cannot have a 0 cooldown special. Nabata Altina has slaying for a 1 cooldown special, so she does not benefit from Emblem Marth. For a lot of other units though, how about being able to run Vital Asher plus times Pulse with non-slaying weapons? You want 2 cooldown Godlike Reflexes? You got it, or heck, you can get a 1 cooldown Godlike Reflexes. Same for Luna, Flare, the armored specials, Deadeye, and you can get a head start on those 4 cooldown lethalities. Anyone can steal Ike's 4 cooldown Aether Niche or drop it to 3 just cause you can. 3 or 4 cooldown Gale Force, 2 or 3 cooldown AoE specials, we can go on and on and on. The one balancing factor for Emblem Marth is a -8 damage penalty for special procs, but only if you have brave attacks. For example, let's use Pern and his Brave Dagger. You can run 3 cooldown lethality with Emblem Marth. You drop it to 2 with times Pulse, and then proc it in 2 hits since Blade Royale has built-in cooldown. I think losing 8 damage is fair for that kind of absurd new playstyle option. Unrestricted slaying is hilarious. It's gonna get wild out there if other emblems bring in this kind of power. As a unit, Marth is once again a sword infantry. For stats, I believe he has 41 HP, 45 attack, 47 speed, 33 defense, and 27 res. The usual cracked out swordmaster stat spread. One thing I'm unsure of at the moment is if Emblem Marth counts for Engage and Shadow Dragon / New Mystery titles. I assume he is, but do check in game. For old skills, Marth has attack and speed finish 4 and infantry no follow 4. No surprises here, the Hero King is here to spam specials and outspeed. For his weapon, Emblem Marth has the Hero King sword. Don't worry, it's just his trusty falchion since it has dragon effectiveness and accelerated specials. At start of combat, if above 25% HP, Marth gets bonus stats based on 20% of his speed at start of combat with a base +5. He will reduce damage from first attacks with an S by 40%. Marth has 50% DR piercing on every attack, and he has built-in desperation. With 47 base speed, Marth will gain around +14 all stats, kinda just a ton of stats for existing. Emblem Marth is looking to be a more aggressive player phase initiator. With desperation and his great speed plus hopefully no follow-up from that C skill, Marth can and will just double tap foes while also piercing half their DR effects. He can't pump up his avoid stat in Faye, but Marth's gonna get a nice 40% DR for one hit, and it applies to brave hits as well. Before we discuss Marth's unique special, we should talk about his new inheritable B skill, Potent 4. This is potentially one of the strongest skills for offensive units because it includes a brand new method of attacking. The icon for the skill is literally the same as Emblem Marth's Divine Speed. First off, no idea on the inheritance restrictions, but it feels like a dodge offshoot, meaning possibly only for sword, lance, and axe infantry. We'll have to see. For the basic part of the skill though, inflict -4 speed and defense on the foe in combat, and unit gets a constant 30% damage reduction for all hits taken. Next is where things get complicated. If decreasing the speed difference necessary to make a follow-up attack by 25 would allow the unit to trigger a follow-up, excluding guaranteed or prevented follow-ups, then trigger potent follow X% during combat. Let's come back to the actual value of X. First off, to simplify, if I understood correctly, this is the opposite effect of Diamant's weapon. Instead of increasing the natural follow-up speed check from 5 to 25, Potent 4 is going to decrease +5 to -20. In other words, you can be slower than the enemy, but you must be within 20 speed of that foe. For example, if you have 50 speed and the foe has 70 speed, unit will now make a potent follow-up attack. So, what is a potent follow-up? Potent follow X% states triggers an additional follow-up immediately after unit's standard follow-up attack and deals damage equal to X% of the unit's normal attack damage. Potent follow-ups are a brand new mechanic mimicking Emblem Marth's extra attack abilities in Engage. If you score a natural double, you also will make a third attack with X% damage. The X value was shown earlier. If the unit cannot perform a follow-up, then X is 80%. Otherwise, X is 40%. Basically, if you can double, then the third hit is only 40% damage. If you cannot double, the potent follow-up is almost as strong as a normal second hit. There are more rules to potent follow-ups though. If unit makes a normal follow-up attack, the potent third hit will come after that follow-up. If you cannot do a normal follow-up, potent will take the place of a standard follow-up. For example, you hit the enemy, they hit you back, then potent follow-up hits the enemy. Another important aspect of this skill is that while it is treated like a follow-up attack for things like %DR skills or desperation, you actually cannot stop the potent follow-ups with, say, follow-up denial or the defensive portion of no follow-up. If I understand correctly, that last part makes this skill incredibly interesting. Super fast units like Marth can score 3 attacks. However, the speed check only requires units to be within 20 speed of the enemy. While Diamant makes it tougher for foes to double him, Potent 4 is making it easier to quote-unquote double the faster enemies. Remember, if you normally cannot follow up, that potent hit is 80% base damage. That is still pretty good. However, the important thing is that the potent attack is just like any other action. This means it charges special, and I assume it procs specials as well. It's not a surefire thing without certain other abilities, but any chance for a special is good, even if the potent attack is a weaker normal hit. I think it requires some testing, but the general idea is that Potent could be an option for these sort of fast but not top of the line speed builds. Sure, the fast foes may naturally double you, but if they do not outspeed by 20 or more, you also double them. This is a skill we have to experiment with for sure. Last up, Emblem Marth's big engage attack, Lodestar Rush, is represented as a unique 2 cooldown special. It deals 40% of Marth's speed as damage and grants no guard passively. If Marth with the foe has a special ready or it has triggered in this combat, then Marth reduces the next hit taken by unpierceable 40% damage reduction. So far, this is Ready No Astra, no guard, and the secondary DR effect from the armored specials. All good stuff, no shining emblem buffing going on. For the last part, if Marth's special is ready or has been triggered during this combat, Potent Follow X% has triggered, and X% is less than 99%, then X will now be the full 100% damage. Basically, Emblem Marth has his own synergy with the new Potent Follow mechanic. The general game plan for Marth is what he wants to be initiating, outspeed, and have no follow-up from his C-skill. Marth goes basic attack, which charges the Slaying Lodestar Rush, into the Lodestar Rush proc via Desperation, and then immediately trigger the Potent Follow. Normally, in this situation, other units are going to deal 40% base damage for that potent attack. With Lodestar Rush though, Martin's potent attack deals full damage. He essentially does get a triple attack, all with partial DR Pierce. Keep in mind, Marth has Finish 4. His Lodestar Rush proc and the Potent Follow both get the extra damage and healing. Additionally, with his triple attack sequence, the potent hit recharges Lodestar Rush. For his next target, Marth can immediately proc his special, normal follow-up recharges it, and then the potent follow-up procs a second Lodestar Rush. All of this without getting hit back is now possible thanks to Potent 4. You could use Time Spells to do this out of the gate, but Infantry No Follow 4 is pretty good. Maybe find a cooldown support friend like Lord Asker. Now, Emblem Marth is going to be a scary offensive threat. If he makes the first move, that just could be the end of the fight. Man really took all those years to smash the heart. With Potent 4, even if Marth doesn't outspeed, if he's within 20 speed of the enemy, he triggers the Potent Follow-up, and that should also trigger Desperation, plus a Lodestar Rush proc. If Marth does get hit at any point, he has double or triple % DR effects, 40% from his weapon, 30% from Potent 4, and then unpierceable 40% via Lodestar Rush if specials are ready. Overall, a crazy start to kick off the new hero type. No matter Emblem Marth's actual performance in battle, just having him to engage with any unit for slaying is absurd. It's literally like a Sacred Seal, but for freaking accelerated specials that you can swap around to anyone. We've gotten short story-length skills in this game with all kinds of power creep, and yet 3 simple words is still one of the most powerful playstyle altering effects in the game. After a lengthy discussion about our new heroes and new hero type, let's briefly go over the 10 other heroes on the banner. Joining the new Emblem Marth in red is legendary Hinoka and Ascended Fur. Mythic Lumera will be paired with Mythic Veyle and rearmed Plumeria. Green has Thorr, rearmed Sonya and Ascended Zed. Colorless has Elimine, Ash, and legendary Micaiah. I think we talked about Mr. Fire Emblem enough for today. Skill-wise, obviously Potent 4 is the shiny new skill available. Marth also has Attack and Speed Finish 4 and Infantry No Follow 4, which is still very new. Just so we're clear, emblems do not have any special kind of inheriting. If you use Marth for his skills, you're gonna lose him like normal. As a reminder, do not do any skill inheritance until update 8.2 releases. We are getting 5 skill slots for inheriting, so good luck getting the most value out of your fodder units. Moving on, legendary Hinoka is a red flying archer with full glass cannon stats. She has offense and a follow-up and fire sweep plus contour for safety. Her Rallying Cry provides breath type cooldown as a status, and flying allies will also get charge. It also can inflict some long range debuffs to non-flyers. Hinoka has Deadeye for DR Piercing, and Attack and Speed Catch 4 is still a solid stat booster. She is one of the 2 Wings of Mercy 4 holders if you want the improved warping. Ascended Fur is a sword master focused on more offensive moves. She has Slang with built-in Times Pulse 4 and can inflict good speed and defense debuffs. Fur also gets no guard and damage reduction. For skills, Fur has the tier 4 physical no follow-up, excellent for the partial DR Pierce. Attack and Speed Finish 4 and Attack and Speed Oath 4 are staple strong picks for any attacker. Overall, if you want Emblem Marth now, lots of good skills on the table. Marth has great fodder, but you honestly probably want to keep at least a copy so you can engage with any unit at any time. Moving on, to blue we've gone over Mythic Lumera as well. For skills, she has 2 new stat variants of tier 4 options. Attack and Speed Scout 4 is strong, but still requires a res check. Rue's 4 skills can now be picked up with their Dual Rally Plus once this update hits. For Mythic Veyle, she's a Blue Infantry Mage and Astro Mythic with high attack and res. She offers solid support in attack and res field boss, resonance blades, and shields, and her C-skill can give anyone Scowl if Veyle has higher resistance than the foe they are fighting. She also provides 30% DR, so very neat teammate. Veyle can get all these benefits herself, plus a free follow-up attack with some res-based true damage and slaying. Veyle will hit quite hard with attack and res tempo 4 since it has partial DR piercing. She's the only unit with this tempo 4, and attack and res finish 4 is another good skill to take. Last up, rearm Plumeria. Her unique dance grants +5 field buffs, charge, and fill penalty doubler while debuffing the nearest enemy within 5 spaces. That's a lot of stat advantages for an ally. Arcane Euphoria is a blue tome with Slaying, a free follow-up, some true damage, and 30% damage reduction for 1 hit. We just got Arcane Thunder, which is the faster Arcane blue tome option. For other skills, Plumeria has Wings of Mercy 4, she also has Stillwater 4, and Defense Ploy 3 to send out more debuffing. You can get all of Plumeria's tier 4 skills with 4 slots, but maybe you want to add something else. All rearmed heroes get even more valuable with that 5th inheritance slot. Moving on to green, Mythic Thorr is an Astro Mythic Axe Flyer with low speed. Worldbreaker grants Breath type cooldown support as a drive aura. For combat, Thorr will have Slaying, a free follow-up attack, and can neutralize field buffs if she's alone. For skills, Attack and Defense Push 4 might be useful if you need to recoil damage, but otherwise not the best. Flow Guard 3 is solid for offense and no follow-up, and Guard Plus, we're going to get a tier 4 maybe someday. Now, rearm Sonya is a green infantry mage with high attack and res. Her unique A skill grants +8 to all stats, cooldown every turn, and no guard. Sonya will lose HP every turn as well, which you can mess around with to trigger certain HP threshold skills. Sonya can use this to warp around with Escape Route 4, and she can get that Conto 1 bonus. For her Arcane Caliburnus green tome, it has Slaying, +5 stats, a free follow-up attack, Breath type cooldown, and low attack and res. Sonya will be able to pre-charge her AoE special, and Attack and Res Ploy 3 will increase her damage and support her team. She's the only unit with this tier 4 Ploy variant at the moment. Sonya is another rearmed with easy inheritance, but if you give her other skills, then those 5 slots can be used for extra fodder value. Last, Ascended Sed is another green infantry mage with AoE potential. Herod for City has Slaying and always gives -1 cooldown every turn, along with some attack and speed field buffs. It has some damage reduction for 1 hit and adds extra damage based on Sed's speed and his max cooldown value. The AoE special will gain the extra 2 damage as well. For extra cooldown, Sed has Infantry Pulse 4, which does give the user Times Pulse 3 now. If you want to recharge faster or you have DR Piercing with other specials, then Special Spiral 4 is still a great skill. If you need some stats, attack and speed Ideal 4 is okay as well. Last, for Colorless, Elimine is an Astro Mythic Flying Healer. Staff with the Saint is the only source of False Start, which disables all at start of turn effects. It's extremely strong, but it requires positioning and a res check. For other supports, Elimine grants defense and res field buffs, and her C skill provides 30% damage reduction with more defense and res in combat. For skills, you got Nudge Plus, which is the Shove Healer Assist, Attack and Speed 4 Trace, which can help reposition, and you probably want to replace Attack and Res Push 4 with some flat resistance stat. Next, Mythic Ashe is our Book 6 free unit. Her C skill provides 2 space warping to allies within 2 spaces and some bonus attack. For combat, Ashe has Slaying, Stats, and Omnibreaker if she's within 3 spaces of a couple allies. For fodder, you got Attack and Defense Unity and Low Attack and Defense 3. Still some decent skills. Last up for today is legendary Micaiah, a Colorless infantry mage. New Dawn has the usual armor and cav effectiveness and a free follow-up attack with bonus attack and resistance. Micaiah has Desperation, but at a 50% HP threshold. Kinda hard to utilize, although Maiden Solace does let Micaiah give away her HP to allies. For some extra protection, Prescience has -5 attack and resistance with 30% DR. Micaiah also has Fury for recoil damage, and honestly, Legendary Micaiah wasn't too impressive on release, so hopefully that remix comes sooner than later. If you want some skills, Fury 4 is still fun, and Join Distant Guard can go on just about any unit. That'll wrap up this wild double mythic emblem banner. Lumera should be a fun unit, although I think it's fine to be skeptical about trying to tank and ate the raids. Her lack of resistance based skills may be an issue for scaling those higher res enemies. As for Emblem Marth, I still haven't fully come to terms that if you get them, you can nearly give anyone accelerated specials and it stacks with slaying weapons. You can basically modify every build that isn't running 1 cooldown setups, and you're free to change Marth's engaged partner at any time. That flexibility is just tough to ignore or pass up. It really does make you wonder what the other emblems are going to be like. As for Potent form, definitely need to keep an eye on it. I'm not 100% sure I understood how it works, so I do want to test it out. We have a lot of summoning to do with the anniversary rewards coming soon, so I wish everyone good luck. Be sure to log in for all the rewards and do all these special maps and whatnot. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.